Hi, Conrad Zimmerman from FistShark Marketing here. If you like our show, how about supporting it with a small monthly contribution through Patreon? For less than a typical political donation, you can let us lie to your face while doing little to improve your life. Just visit patreon.com/fishtshark or click the big Patreon button at fistshark.com for more details. And thanks for listening.
I was watching Monday Night Raw last night.
Gotta protect your neck, I understand. Got a lot riding on them.
Yeah, I wager on the matches, I go down to the betting shop, place it, all in on Gold Dust, and I don't win very often, but it's the fun of the gambling that matters.
You're not betting on Gold Dust because you expect to win. You're betting on Gold Dust because you support Gold Dust.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. Except Gold Dust was in the ring last night, and he was having a match with Elias, and they're going toe-to-toe. They're having a go at each other. Pretty fun match, all things considered. And then the ring starts rumbling a bit, like shaking.
Like an earthquake?
Almost, but localized to just the ring, the wrestling ring itself. Everyone in the crowd was fine.
That's impressive, though. I mean, that's a big spectacle for WWE.
I thought it would be like, some sort of like earthquake match, like a new sort of stipulation or gimmick that they'd introduced and forgot to tell us about.
Right, yeah, they're going to shake the ring while the competitors, and it makes it hard for them to stay upright, something like that, yeah.
Which would be quite good. It was like that time in the 90s when they tried the spinning ring, which just had it rotate really fast and they couldn't get on it and they kept like breaking their face on the turnbuckles. That was a huge laugh. So I'm sat there, edge of my seat, like, this is going to get good. We're going to see some broken faces on turnbuckles again. And instead of that, the ring just starts lifting up. It just, gets up off the floor of its own power. I was trying to see, a pulley system or strings, but it just lifted up seemingly of its own volition.
No wires, no rafters.
No wires, no rafters.
Huh.
Vince McMahon, WWE CEO, is there on the big screen, the big Titantron screen, at the one end of the arena.
Right.
His face pops up on the screen, and he's just laughing. Just...
That's pretty normal. I mean, that sort of matches up with Vince, yeah.
Mr. McMahon being a heel again.
All right. So this is, this is part of the gaff, right? This is the setup.
That's what I thought. But then it zoomed in the camera on Elias's face, and I didn't see affected fear. I saw genuine terror. The kind you see when you call Craig into human resources and you're sitting in on the meeting for a laugh.
Right.
That sort of fear. And that's when I thought, I'm starting to believe this isn't, part of the show. And that was emphasized by Michael Cole on commentary saying, what the fuck's happening, Corey? This isn't part of the show. And Corey just stammering.
Okay, all right. So then what happened? The ring's floating in air and Vince McMahon's on the screen laughing.
Hasn't stopped laughing for the whole thing. I mean, let me tell you, it took about 10 minutes for this thing to rise slowly to the same height as Vince McMahon's face on the Titantron.
I mean, that's pretty gradual. I mean, you got to figure it's probably 60 feet up, right?
Yeah.
But still, at a rate of 6 feet a minute, that is a very, very slow.
Yeah, and Elias and Goldust and the referee as well, let's not forget, kind of worked out together that they should have jumped out of that ring quicker than they did.
Right.
Because by the time they were ready to do it, it was too high. And this is where it really started to feel like this was unplanned, because the match they'd stopped fighting. Elias and Goldust and the referee, all three of them were trying to look for ways to climb down safely off this thing. Jonathan Coachman is on commentary, muttering something about he said this was going to happen and I didn't believe him. Oh, Jesus, I should have told people. The ring starts moving again, this time horizontally, and it's going towards the screen, just slowly, like, making its way, and you can just hear this sort of, this dull but loud hum, just like that, as it just slowly makes its way towards the screen. Vince McMahon's on the screen. He does that, and his mouth opens really wide, like as wide as a moray eel. And Roman Reigns has come out. He's on the stage, and he's looking up at the screen, yelling, "Stop this! Stop this! I take it back! I take it back!" Vince on the screen looks down and says, "Oh no! This is gonna happen! This is gonna happen, and it's all your fault!" Ah! And his mouth is like super wide now. And Roman Reigns is like, "Oh, fucking hell," because he thought he had a wide mouth when he does his big thing that he does in the ring. But he turns white as a sheet and just walks off, sweating, nervous. The crowd is in dead silence this time because they've picked up. They were cheering up until the hum started. And then a few of them started to vomit because of the noise. I mean, I was feeling queasy just watching it at home. I dread to think how loud it was being piped into the arena. Corey Graves is vomiting, and you can hear it hitting his microphone, his headset. Cole just rips his headset off and runs. He runs. Jonathan Coachman is crying, and you can just hear him just underneath the hum, like whimpering, "I'm sorry." The ring is still making its way towards the screen with Vince on it, with his mouth open wide. And then, I shit you not, it goes into the screen.
The whole ring?
The whole wrestling ring with Goldust, Elias, and a referee in it go into the screen where Vince's mouth is wide open.
The geometry of it is kind of blowing my mind, right?
Have you ever seen Ringo, aka The Ring?
No, I don't think so.
Well, it was just like that, except the other way around.
Okay.
They go into the big TV screen, and you can hear Elias and Goldust screaming. They're like screaming, "Help us, won't somebody help us?" The referee has jumped off. He's jumped off the ring, falls straight down, breaks his neck on the ramp.
Oh.
That is when people really started to think there might be an issue.
That maybe this wasn't a show. But so the ring goes into the screen.
Into Vince's mouth. He closes his mouth. Like that. Says it will happen again. Screen goes black. Arena lights go out. The little WWE logo appears in the corner.
And so was that the end of the episode?
Yes, and it was the best Raw I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are going to be talking about this for years. I mean, this is going to be probably the most spectacular story arc that WWE has ever attempted. And I mean, it could be just a renaissance for Goldust as a wrestler.
Well, not really.
No? I mean, he seemed to be like right at the center of this. I'd expect them to have all these big plans, and
he and Elias haven't been seen since. They've not tweeted. They've not been saying they didn't leave the arena. A lot of the wrestlers have been tweeting in genuine fear because they haven't seen hide nor hair of them. Their families are concerned, and all they know is they got a message from WWE Creative saying, "Hold on to your butts tomorrow, because SmackDown's going to be amazing."
How are they going to top Raw, though? I mean, really?
I mean, I have no idea, but I'm really looking forward to it. Rumor has it they're just going to keep doing that until there's no wrestlers left. But that's in the dirt sheet, so you never can be quite sure what's true and what's not.
But it's like a royal Ringu.
Sort of like a royal Ringu, yeah. Have you been following the latest lawsuit news?
What, Kanye again? I mean...
Not Kanye this time. No, this is another one of NASA's.
Oh, God. Okay, all right. So slightly less litigious. Fine. Sure.
Ever so slightly. Well, they got a better win-loss ratio. They're scientists.
Well, that's true. They hit more often than they don't because they're ready to back their shit up with research. And credit where credit's due. They can make a good case.
That's the problem with scientists. That's why I never get into a courtroom with one.
Mm-mm.
If I see one in a courtroom, I generally try and attack it.
Yeah, and I can't blame you. I would too.
Yeah.
You know, I do everything in my power just to settle out of court. Anytime science enters the picture.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the best thing because of all of that evidence shit that they love so much. It gets on my bloody nerves. It's why the only real doctor I like is our one, Dr. Nightscream.
Mm-hmm.
Although, to be fair, he's not really a scientist of the sciences.
Right. He's more into the esosciences.
Yeah.
The semi-sciences, the pseudos, if you will.
The all of the pseuds. That's my favourite type of science. But this one's a good one, and I think they've got him. Because, again, they've got backup on this. Lawyers have checked it out. Something for us to be aware of, especially if we want to develop any new science fiction IP, because Gene Roddenberry's estate is now under fire, thanks to NASA.
Whoa. Oh, that's a big whale.
Well, I mean, we've been waiting for this one. We knew they'd get around to Star Trek eventually. But it turns out that they are suing the estate of Gene Roddenberry because Star Trek, for so many decades, has claimed that space is the final frontier.
Sure, yeah. Space, the final frontier, the voyages of the... Sure, right, yeah. Right,
yeah. It's the final frontier. It's an iconic statement that NASA took to heart. So when NASA discovered space in 1986, they were like, that's it, job done.
Sure, yeah. I remember that's why most of their funding got pulled in the end, is that, the politicians were all given the impression that this was it, they were done, and a lot of scientists were like, well, hang on, we could study more in depth.
We can dick around on Mars,
And that's just them clinging to their funding, I think, ultimately.
I think so. It's like, they made that mistake of not spending the same amount as they spent the year before. 1987 comes around, they spent most of that year just sat in their desks pleased with themselves.
That's a mistake. You can't do that. As soon as you show weakness in the budget, that budget's going to get taken away from you.
Absolutely. You got to spend it to keep getting it. That's what I tell Craig every time I use his credit card.
But so I guess you're saying that then they don't think that's the case. They think that that's untrue.
Yeah. Well. One of them was using the NASA computers to draw hentai. The mouse slipped. He opened up another tab and found out that there was another frontier after space.
Whoa. Like a whole other thing to explore.
Yes. You know how there's space?
Sure.
Yeah, apparently if you go like a couple of miles after that, there's something else. They're calling it for now Space 2.
I'm probably going to want to work on that branding. That's, as a sequel to Space. I mean, the sequel always does do better. They might be onto something, but I'd add a subtitle like Space 2, The Next Frontier.
Yeah.
Keep it open-ended.
I think they would like The Next Generation, but that might be something they could settle for with Roddenberry's estate.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, maybe get that in trade. I mean, that could be worth a lot more than some sort of financial settlement.
Well, I would assume so. I would hope so. But they, no, you go past the outer rim, and there it is. I would have called it negative space, because that's pretty much what it is. It's all white, but the stars are black.
Ah.
So it's basically like space, but the opposite.
Right, it's just like an inverted space.
Yeah, like inner space. Oh,
Oh,
actually, I shouldn't bring up inner space.
yeah.
Not after NASA's last lawsuit.
Well, no, when they did their shrinking experiments and resized them inside a villain, and he didn't explode, he just sort of like squished. It was horrifying. It was devastating to the future of the franchise, which they were going to make 3 more films, as I understood it. Killed it right dead.
I mean, that's NASA for you. They got to make their money somewhere, and
It's amazing anybody gets out from under them when it comes right down to it. I mean, once NASA sets their sights on you, you really gotta be on your toes. I mean, that's why I was so impressed with George Lucas's decision to sell to Disney.
well, I mean, yeah, he had to. His back was up against the wall when NASA had him in the firing line because there were no Wookiees. That he was banged to rights.
No, they had him. They had him absolutely on the Wookiees, and he, tried so hard to avoid any of this. Especially when it came time to do the prequels.
He did his research.
He knew he was on thin ice with that Wookiee thing, and he tried to skate past on it, but the Wookiee just it doesn't exist. Sorry.
I mean, they lost so many lives, to be fair, looking for those Wookiees.
They did. They a whole shuttle program just gone.
It is on George Lucas as well, to be fair. To tell people that Kashyyyk is full of Wookiees, and when they get there, it's full of knives.
Yep.
I do kind of understand the lawsuit in that particular instance. And they did have a Gamorrean guard as a lawyer in that one, and they're really good at law.
They are so smart. Like, they'll think you're heading down one way on a cross-examination, and they zag. You're just like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You got me.
And if there's any dispute, they just slam you in the head with the blunt end of their vibro axe, and you pretty much agree with them there and then.
Yeah. It's tough but fair. The justice system is the way I always see.
Well, yeah, justice is blind, and that's the way we like to keep it. Now, I personally would love to know more about this new frontier.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd think that would be the headline, but of course, NASA want to get this lawsuit out of the way before they do any exploration, because they would then have some money to do the exploration.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, well, it's, these lawsuits are pretty much the only way that they've been funding any sort of research out of the organization for the last 2 decades.
Yeah, and it's where they got all of those tablets to start drawing their hentai, which is making them a little bit of money on the side as well. They set up a Patreon for it, for their lewds.
It did pay off, right? Because here it's led to a new discovery and a new opportunity.
Absolutely, and as soon as NASA has some money off Gene Roddenberry, just hurry up and settle so they can build some new ships and go explore it. I just hope there aren't any more starfighters in there. Because once NASA found out just how many starfighters there were...
The clock was ticking.
Yeah, Nick Castle didn't stand a fucking chance.
I don't know. I think the contestants aren't motivated enough. We might have to raise the stakes or something. Like, they're trying, and it's not like they're not trying, but I feel like they could be trying harder, or at least giving us a little more drama to work with.
Tattoo-based reality game shows. They're a little bit old-fashioned.
And they tend not to be competitive, which is what I thought was going to be the big twist that made this so exciting.
Well, yeah, I mean, Trump Inc. is probably the best idea we've ever had. If we'd have had it 5 years ago, it wouldn't have been quite as relevant or difficult, but it might have been more successful. But I still think that, at least creatively, this is a great idea.
No, I think it's a phenomenal idea. It's a convergence of so many fantastic elements. You have the competitiveness and drama of a game show, the artistic talent and skill that you would see displayed in, one of those artistically driven tattoo programs. And you have the brand name recognition of one of the most well-known names in the world.
Absolutely. Plus, of course, you have people committing crimes for money, which, if internet culture's taught us anything, is so hot right now.
Yeah, it's big. It's very, very big. So it's all right there, except the cast just isn't coming through for us, right? We just need one of them to break out.
Or break in, I think, is the issue. They're all very skilled tattoo artists, but charging them with sneaking into Donald Trump's bedroom while he's asleep and tattooing him while he stays asleep, it is a big ask for someone who's mostly done tattooing and not burglary.
Right.
We might need to actually train them up in that. Like all different forms of criminal activity, larceny, money laundering. Like there's a full comprehensive course that FistShark can offer. So we might want to throw them through that first.
There we go. We were having a problem coming up with ideas for, physical challenges and things like that to sort of spice the show up in between attempts. Yeah, we
always need that, yeah.
But, I mean, workshops and activity type things that people can do to, like practice lock picking.
Get an orange mannequin and stick it in a bed of hay, and they can try and get into a shed and get to him. We get people dressed up like CIA agents with tasers and handguns. They can try and dodge them, get in there, and tattoo the bastard.
Yeah, or practice doing one of those glass cutter things where you open up a window without setting off the alarm thing.
Where did they go? I'd love to see them on TV again.
Right? Yeah, I think that'll be a nice nostalgia callback for people. We can set something up like that.
I honestly think that's the one barrier stopping Trump Inc. from being a successful show, is none of them are getting to Trump. Even Mar-a-Lago is difficult to infiltrate.
Yeah, I thought that would be the low-level stage, right?
The tattoo part isn't that big of a deal thanks to Trump's tough leathery hide. Dave Navarro once did an entire sleeve on him and he didn't notice. He still doesn't know he's got it. I think it's like a Grateful Dead themed sleeve.
Well, he always wears those really, really long-sleeved shirts.
That's true. He famously has never seen himself naked.
No, the real problem is the Secret Service. And we knew it was going to be the challenge, certainly.
I mean, that was supposed to be the big element of danger, but it's proven that there's sort of more an element of stopping the show from being done.
Right, like, I legitimately, I thought we were all a team, and I thought that they would, help us out, we'd help them out, we'd cooperate in some fashion, maybe they could, give us a heads up as to, how they're moving him, or where he's going to be, give us some schedules, nothing.
They won't tell us anything. Secretive, that's their problem.
Right? It's just too secretive. Only thing I ever get is that we don't comment on procedures. Like, dude, come on. We're in this together.
We're commenting on our procedures. We're telling you what fucking needles we're using.
Right? I mean, we did them the courtesy of letting them know that we would be sending people to tattoo the president. And he's going to be fine with it, right?
Well, he'll be asleep.
Yeah. He'll wake up one morning, another tattoo, big deal. He's all about fun, President Trump.
And let's face it, the only way he'll ever know is if Melania happens to catch him coming out the shower with his blindfold on and sees it.
Right? And she knows how to keep a secret.
Yeah.
Frankly, so she may not even say anything.
Plus, I don't even think they've seen each other for the last 6 months, so the show would be wrapped by the time she sees him again.
He'll find out he's going to find out the same way he finds out everything, just watching television.
That's true. He'll see himself in shorts on TV, and he'll see his Grateful Dead sleeve.
That ring of bears going all the way around his calf, yeah. That's a tricky one. I mean, that's a technical move because you gotta count on him to roll over. And that's why we have these skilled tattooed artists that are able to pick up and work on a different area at a moment's notice. Like, they don't get so bogged down. I mean, the talent here is amazing if we could just get them into a bedroom.
It's like I've told them. If Miley Cyrus can get into the White House and slip 5 ruby toe rings on Donald Trump's foot, you should be able to get in there and tattoo him while he sleeps.
Right? She's not subtle. She makes a lot of noise everywhere she goes.
She knocked over every pot and pan in the White House kitchen. On purpose. She mostly hates cookware. It wasn't a political thing.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling and Conrad Zimmerman. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alazar Chan. Our editor is Austin Yorsky. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, things are just fine the way they are. Goodbye.